take our seats. I'm sorry, remain standing for the doxology. Now you may be seated. Thank you. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. We are gathered here today for the 5th State Conference on the United Nations Convention Against Corruption, Implementation and Review with the theme, Pagpapatibay ng Kultura ng Integridad sa Bagong Pilipinas. This conference demonstrates our collective efforts and strong commitment to prevent and penalize corrupt practices in all branches of the government. To formally begin our program, may we call on Executive Secretary Lucas P. Bersamin for his opening remarks.
Your Excellency, President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr., Senate President Francis G. Escudero, Congressman Joel R. Chua, Ombudsman Samuel R. Martires, Associate Justice Antonio Co. Jr., the members of the Cabinet here present, members of the Constitutional Commissions, our key development partners and stakeholders, distinguished guests, Governor Eli Remoluna of the Bangko Sentral, my fellow public servants, leaders of the business community and the government-owned and controlled corporations, isang mapagpalayang umaga sa inyong lahat. 6 days from now, or on December 9, 2024, we will be commemorating the International Anti-Corruption Day, whose theme this year is entitled Uniting with Youth Against Corruption, Shaping Tomorrow's Integrity. The youth, and I refer to our children and grandchildren, are significantly affected by corruption. Their tech-savvy generation may possibly leverage technologies such as blockchain, artificial intelligence, social media, and other innovative applications in order to enhance transparency, increase access to information, and create tools that facilitate anonymous reporting of corrupt practices. But it remains to be our duty to still teach the more than 42.8 million Filipino youth the values of transparency, accountability, and integrity at their early age, meaning now. If we are to enable them to utilize these tools and become powerful agents of change in the fight against corruption. It is also relevant to note that today, December 3, 2024, is the International Day of Persons with Disabilities. This is the day of promoting the rights and well-being of persons with disabilities at every level of society and development, so that they can participate fully, equally, and effectively in society with others without facing barriers or discrimination in all aspects of their lives. To be sure, the differently abled individuals suffer disproportionately from corruption, which fundamentally affects their access to public goods and services in terms of connections, power, and resources. Given that differently abled people tend to rely on public services more than on others, they are truly more vulnerable to the ravages of corruption, thus leaving them even further behind. The good news for us is that these problems related to corruption are preventable, but only if we understand how corruption works and know or recognize the systems that enable it. Transparent and efficient governance is part of the 10-point agenda of the President for economic renewal and long-term growth as a way to restoring prosperity for all Filipinos. The President proposes in this regard the establishment of efficient government processes that limit the opportunities for corruption. The Integrity Management Program, or IMP, the government's National Corruption Prevention Program, sets forth a systematic approach in limiting opportunities for corruption in the government by building, improving, reinforcing, and sustaining a culture of integrity in public sector institutions. In keeping with our theme, Pagpapatibay ng kultura ng integridad sa Bagong Pilipinas, the revitalization of the IMP requires the upgrading and empowering of the bureaucracy in the area of integrity risk management which is a strategic opportunity that the program may best pursue. The manifesto to be signed later today shall usher in policies and structures that will build a culture of integrity within the government that knows what it believes and integrate that with its actions and words. I respectfully urge that we create pathways that give public servants and citizens alike tools to identify corruption risks, develop smart, ethical responses to corruption, and use technology to formulate and implement sustainable integrity standards in government institutions. This Fifth State Conference stands not only as a testament to our shared vision, but as a beacon of progress. And because of our efforts leading to today, the results will surely positively impact the quality of public service in our country. Let us all roll up our sleeves and get to work. Maraming salamat po sa inyong lahat. Mabuhay ang Bagong Pilipinas.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Executive Secretary Lucas Bersamin. May we call on Mr. Daniel Marchesi from the United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime for his message as the Secretariat to the United Nations Convention Against Corruption.
His Excellency President Ferdinand Marcos Jr., His Excellency Ombudsman Samuel Martires, the Honorable Justice Antonio Co. Jr., the Honorable Executive Secretary Lucas Bersamin, sir, the Honorable Senate President Francis Escudero, the Honorable Congressman Joel Choa, Mr. Xavier Mustafaglu, Governor of the Banco Central, distinguished secretaries and undersecretaries, distinguished participants, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning. Magandang umaga po. It is a profound honor to address you today in this historic hall under the leadership of His Excellency President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. as we gather to reaffirm our shared commitment to combating corruption and advancing good governance. This conference reflects the Philippines' extraordinary progress in upholding the principles of the United Nations Conventions Against Corruption, the UNCAC. As the only globally binding anti-corruption framework, the UNCAC provides a comprehensive roadmap for transparency, accountability, and integrity. As the guardian of the UNCAC, the United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime, UNODC, is proud to work alongside member states like the Philippines to translate these principles into meaningful reforms. Your Excellency, ladies and gentlemen, corruption is not just a legal or institutional challenge. It is a crime that undermines the achievement of all the Sustainable Development Goals. By sapping public finance management systems, it slows down the efforts to alleviate poverty. It hinders economic growth and reinforces inequality. It diverts essential resources from health, education, or needed infrastructure. It erodes public trust in key institutions, threatening stability. It weakens the rule of law and undermines human rights. No country is immune. Corruption affects both wealthy and developing nations. Yet, while it is tempting to accept the narrative that corruption is a fact of life, something inevitable or insurmountable, this is not true. In many countries, we have seen successes. There is not one recipe, but we know the key ingredients to prevent and combat it. Transparency and enhanced e-governance, efficiency in public finance and public procurement, integrity and administration, such as the IMP developed by the Philippines, strong rules and inclusive institutions, effective education systems, gender equality, political commitment, strong civil society, and of course, enhanced international cooperation. 30 years ago, there was no global legal framework or cooperation platform for anti-corruption. Few countries had dedicated anti-corruption bodies, and in some Western countries, bribes were tax deductible. Today, the UNCAC boasts 190 parties, almost as many as the member states of the United Nations itself. Public tolerance of corruption has significantly decreased. The Philippines itself has made significant strides. The passage of Republic Act number 12009, the landmark public procurement law, is a shining example of meaningful reform. Public procurement, which has historically been a high-risk area for corruption, is now more transparent and accountable thanks to the institutionalization of electronic procurement, beneficial ownership, transparency, and sustainability principles. On the international stage, the Philippines is achieving another significant milestone. All 18 action items required by the Financial Action Task Force, FATF, to exit the gray list of jurisdiction under increased monitoring for the anti-money laundering and counter-terrorism, financing of terrorism, have been addressed. At its October 2024 plenary, the FATF recognized this progress and announced that an on-site assessment will be conducted to confirm the sustainability of these reforms. Successfully exiting the grey list will enhance the country's reputation in the international financial community and open doors for greater investment and economic opportunities. While these achievements are commendable, the fight against corruption must continue. There are critical areas that require sustained focus, as pointed out by the implementation review mechanism of the UNCAC. Allow me to mention a few. First, an urgent priority is the enactment of a comprehensive whistleblower protection law. Whistleblowers play a pivotal role in exposing corruption, but they must be shielded from retaliation. A national law would create uniform safeguards, empowering individuals to report wrongdoing and strengthening accountability. Second, it would be useful to develop a beneficial ownership transparency law. Such legislation would prevent the misuse of corporate structures to conceal illicit financial flows. Thirdly, expanding the freedom of information framework to include the legislative and judicial branches is also essential. Extending freedom of information coverage will boost transparency and accountability, empowering citizens and strengthening public trust in democratic institutions. 4, efforts to address the risks posed by Philippines' offshore gaming operations, POGOs, and related activities must continue. President Marcos' decisive issuance of Executive Order number 74 to ban POGOs is an impressive step. And effective enforcement will require enhanced interagency coordination, oversight, and resources. 5th, continuing to promote integrity, accountability, and human rights in law enforcement and the criminal justice system is also a key priority. Ultimately, defeating corruption is not only about policies and laws. It requires systemic, incremental changes that reshape institutions and behaviors over time. Education is key to achieving this cultural shift. Education for integrity, particularly among young people and newly appointed public officials, is an essential ingredient to prevent corruption. UNCAC stands ready to continue supporting the government of the Philippines in all these areas, and we commend the work that is being done and the commitment, the political commitment to achieving this. Your Excellency, distinguished participants, corruption, like crime, is not defeated by a single act of bravery, but by a collective effort where everyone at all levels of society performs their duty with integrity. On behalf of the United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime, I reaffirm our unwavering commitment to standing with the Philippines in this vital journey. Together we can build systems that deter corruption, promote accountability, and create a legacy of good governance. Thank you, maraming salamat po, and mabuhay ang Pilipinas. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Marchesi. Another development partner of the Philippines in our fight against corruption is the World Bank. May we call on Country Director, Mr. Zafar Mustafaulu, for his message.
His Excellency President Ferdinand Marcos Jr., Honorable Senate President Francis Escudero, Honorable Executive Secretary Lucas Bersamin, Honorable Congressman Joel Chua, Honorable Ombudsman Samuel Martres, Associate Justice Antonio Co, secretaries, members of the cabinet, senior government officers, and Governor of Central Bank, Honorable Eli Remolona Jr., distinguished guests. I'm honored to provide brief remarks at this important event, the 5th State Conference on the Implementation and Review of Anti-Corruption. Corruption undermines a country's development by increasing business costs, deterring investments, slowing job creation and productivity, and misallocating public resources. It diverts funds away from essential priorities such as human capital, public services, climate change, disaster risk management, economic opportunities for the poor and vulnerable. Corruption is not undefeatable. Reducing corruption, however, requires an integrative and multifaceted approach that focuses on establishing institutions for prevention, enforcement, and monitoring, including using digital innovation practices. Efforts span across making and enforcing laws, strengthening trust in government, and exploiting windows of opportunity, and enhancing independent oversight institutions. The World Bank has extensive experience in helping countries fight corruption and has a long-standing engagement with the government of the Philippines in support of its good governance reforms and anti-corruption initiatives. Let me highlight a few areas of our successful collaboration where the payoffs promise to be significant. First, on the legislative front, the Philippines has achieved a significant milestone this year with the enactment of the new Government Act on Public Procurement, enhancing transparency, accountability, and efficiency in the public sector. This includes beneficial ownership information disclosure, integrity compliance, and sanction systems. The World Bank will continue to provide technical assistance on the implementation of the law, focusing on capacity building for procurement officers and developing the procurement observers guides and platform. Second, independent oversight institutions, including both official bodies such as Supreme Audit institutions and civil society and media, need support and accountability tools. For example, Romania has been developing its public accountability mechanism for over 20 years. Brazil's governance risk assessment system uses advanced data analytics to detect fraud, corruption, and collusion in public expenditures. In 2011, the World Bank provided support to the Philippines Commission on Audit to enhance its capabilities, integrating different types of audits into a single methodology and developing a forensic audit manual and basic investigative forensic accounting. We continue to support the government efforts to improve its financial management and auditing practices for more transparency of government operations. Further, the World Bank supported the government of Philippines to establish the Integrity Management Program, piloting it in 5 national agencies, creating results-based monitoring and evaluation tools, and formalizing a partnership between the executive branch and the Office of the Ombudsman. We are very happy to see that an enhanced integrity program with the new vision and roadmap is being launched, and we would be very happy to continue to support the government in these efforts. Last but not least, I would like to highlight the importance of technology and innovation as an asset for reducing opportunities for corruption and for improving transparency. In Bangladesh, for instance, the introduction of electronic procurement significantly improved competition, reduced corruption, and generated significant savings. Some countries have reduced opportunities for corruption by reducing red tape. This has been important, for example, in the transition countries of Central and Eastern Europe. And some countries used a sector-based approach. For example, Madagascar used custom reforms and performance contracts to curb tax evasion, facilitate trade, enhance revenue, and reduce opportunities for corruption. The World Bank has been supporting the digital transformation of the Philippines government and modernization of public services under a whole government approach. As I conclude, I congratulate the authorities on the launch of the Enhanced Integrity Management Program, and the World Bank remains fully committed to our joint efforts in fighting corruption and building a new partnership in this regard. Thank you.
Thank you, Country Director, Mr. Mustafoglu. To present the anti-corruption initiatives of the Senate of the Philippines, may we call on Senate President Senator Francis Joseph G. Escudero.
Mahigit 5,000 taong ang lumilipas, binaba ng Panginoong Diyos kay Moses ang isang simpleng kautusan kabilang ng 10 utos. Bawal ka magnakaw, huwag ka magnanakaw. Subalit makalipas ang 5,000 taon mula ng panahon ni Moses, makalipas ang 2,000 taon mula ng panahon ni Jesus hanggang sa araw na ito, meron pa ring nagnanakaw. Ano ang panlaban natin kung hindi sinusunod ng tao? Ang utos na galing sa Diyos, nakaukit sa bato. Anong panlaban ng mga utos at batas nang galing lamang sa tao at nakasulat lamang sa papel? His Excellency President Ferdinand Bongbong Romualdez Marcos Jr., sa ginagalaan po natin mga miyembro ng gabinete, sa pangunguna ni Executive Secretary Lucas Bersamin, Congressman Joel Chua, sa mga miyembro at kapwa ko naninilbihan sa pamahalaan ngayong umaga sa pangunguna ni Sammy Martires, ang ating ginagalang Ombudsman, at gayon din, si Associate Justice Antonio Co. Jr., isa pong maganda at pinagpalang umaga sa ating lahat. First, I would like to commend and congratulate the stakeholders of the Integrity Management Program, IMP, for working to meet our obligations under the United Nations Convention Against Corruption, UNCAC. Your reports assure me that great strides are being made to eradicate corruption and restore integrity, dignity, and efficiency in public service. Moreover, I laud your persistence and determination in pursuing this crusade. This past December 1 marked 10 years since the Integrity Management Program was founded way back in 2014. It has also endured through 3 presidents whose surnames and histories they carry embody the abrupt shifts and deep divides which have consumed our nation, namely Aquino, Duterte, and Marcos. Such unanimity in purpose and continuity in action are rare in our political system, where elections rather than obligations determine the fate of projects, programs, and policies. But if there is a cause which demands our unwavering commitment across partisan, familial, and generational lines, it is definitely this one. For the battle against corruption is one which we cannot lose. The stakes are simply too high, the consequences too grave, and the cost of failure too catastrophic to fathom. We need not recount the full economic toll, the investments lost, and the services undelivered, and the developments denied. Indeed, corruption is a cancer too often diagnosed and too little treated, which has led it to metastasize across every branch and level of government. The way forward for me is clear. We must excise this disease desk by desk, office by office, bureau by bureau, until every trace of the infection has been purged. 3 recently enacted laws particularly further fortify the Senate's resolve in our battle against corruption. These are the new Government Procurement Act, the Anti-Agricultural Sabotage Act, and the Anti-Fiscal Financial Accounts and Scamming Act. Equally important, however, is the proper use of our oversight power not to harass or attack for political gain, but to expose and rectify corruption for national progress. One famous formula summarized the cause of corruption as follows: corruption equals monopoly plus discretion minus transparency. But for me, I simply define it as corruption equals discretion and vice versa. Minimize corruption, minimize discretion, you minimize corruption. Eliminate discretion, you eliminate corruption. Fighting corruption is an unceasing crusade, a work without rest. Measures which must be new soon fall prey to obsolescence. As soon as we install curtailment measures, bad actors will begin circumventing them. Thus, for us to be always ahead of the curve, we must do the following. Number one, we should digitalize the system because the portals for payment of fees, permits for business and public expenditures are windows through which these can be monitored and seen. Number two, declutter rules, which instead of promoting ease of doing business, provide opportunities for corruption, especially those ironically conceived to promote transparency. Number three, devolve the fight to the local level, because it is a misconception that corruption is a central government program rather than a community concern. Tripwires can only be installed on the ground and not above ground. Number four, define clearer rules, beginning with laymanizing language in government transactions, purging them of bureaucraties which keep people ignorant, or if in English, at least render them in plain speak. Number five, defend whistleblowers, those whose claims are true, whose bravery is real, and whose lives are at risk. Include government personnel who aid them or those who nurture a culture of clean government within their jurisdiction. Number six, defund or diminish expenditures which pose the highest moral hazards. And finally, number seven, demonstrate, reward, and incentivize best practices so that these are not one-off victories but replicable triumphs of good against evil in our battle against corruption. But whichever version is invoked, the message remains the same. Where power goes unchecked, discretion is unlimited, and darkness predominates, corruption festers. And where power is balanced, discretion is choked, and the sunshine is let in, corruption always withers. Through our combined efforts, the hearings we conduct, the laws we make, and the actions you take, we can strengthen our collective fight against corruption. Together, let us remain steadfast in our mission to fight the seemingly unbeatable foe, to right the seemingly unrightable wrong, and to dream the seemingly impossible dream of eliminating corruption in our country and in the world around us. Tila mahirap at imposible nga naman labanan ng katiwalian, pagnanakaw at korupsyon, lalong-lalo na kung hindi nga sinusunod ng sangkatawan ang utos na nagmula sa Diyos na nakaukit sa bato. Subalit para sa akin, pwede pa rin natin itong bawasan, gawing mas mahirap para sa kanila, at tiyakin na sino man ang lalabag sa simple at napakaliwanag na batas na ito ay mapapanagot at mapaparusahan. Maraming salamat at magandang umaga po sa ating lahat.
Thank you, Senate President Escudero. May we now call on Representative Joel R. Chua to discuss the anti-corruption measures being implemented in the House of Representatives.
His Excellency President Ferdinand Marcos Jr., Senate President Francis Escudero, Associate Justice Antonio Co, Executive Secretary Lucas Bersamin, Ombudsman Samuel Martinez, Mr. Daniel Marchesi, Country Manager of UNODC, Mr. Zafar Mustafaoglu, Country Director of World Bank, members of the Cabinet, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning. I come before you as a messenger for the Leader of the House of Representatives, the Honorable Speaker Ferdinand Martin G. Romualdez. Allow me to read this message for this special occasion. Today, we gather not just as individuals representing various sectors, but as stewards of a shared vision, a nation free from corruption, where every peso of public funds serves its intended purpose, the welfare of the Filipino people. Allow me to begin with this statement. The House of Representatives stands as a committed ally in the fight against corruption. While I serve as Speaker, I assure you that this institution shall remain steadfast in its role as a guardian of the national purse and a steward of the people's trust. The ongoing hearing in the House demonstrate our unwavering resolve to uphold accountability and transparency. These investigations are more than a showcase of legislative power. They are an affirmation of our responsibility to the Filipino people. They represent our commitment to fiscal responsibility and good governance. Can we do any less, knowing that every peso in the national budget represents the hard-earned contributions of millions of Filipinos? As I have said to my colleagues, ang pera ng bayan ay hindi para sa pansariling pakinabangan ng ilan. Ito ay para lamang sa kapakanan ng taong bayan. Those who dare abuse the privilege of public service should be forewarned. The House will not tolerate any betrayal of the people's trust. We will rise above political noise to focus on the truth. We will not hesitate to use our authority to unmask those who violate their oath and undermine the public good. The fight against corruption is not the responsibility of any one branch of government. It is a collective effort. The House of Representatives is fully committed to working with the judiciary, executive agencies, civil society, and our international partners. Their collaborative approach strengthens our capacity to investigate, prosecute, and enforce anti-corruption measures effectively. Our cooperation with global conventions like the United Nations Convention Against Corruption, UNCAC, exemplifies our dedication to aligning national efforts with international best practices. Together, we are building a system where corruption is not only exposed but also deterred at every level. The fight against corruption is also a fight for the restoration of public trust. Every act of graft chips away at the people's confidence in government institutions. Rebuilding this trust requires transparency in governance and a steadfast commitment to ethical leadership. Public trust is a fragile yet powerful foundation. When leaders act with integrity, trust grows. When trust grows, society thrives. The House of Representatives is dedicated to being a symbol of that trust, a chamber where public funds are allocated responsibly and the voices of the people are heard and respected. Ladies and gentlemen, our aspiration for a corruption-free society is not just an ideal. It is an achievable goal, but it demands vigilance, courage, and unity. It demands that we remain relentless in exposing wrongdoers, untiring in promoting ethical governance, and unwavering in our commitment to justice. The road ahead will not be easy, but the rewards are immeasurable. A nation where resources are used to build schools, improve healthcare, and create opportunities for every Filipino, a society where no one is left behind because of the greed of a few. To my fellow public servant, I ask, let us remember that the resources entrusted to us are not ours. They belong to the people. Every decision we make, every policy we implement, must be guided by the principle that public office is a public trust. To our partners in civil society and the private sector, your role in this fight is invaluable. Speak out against corruption, hold us accountable, and be our partners in building a government that serves the people with honesty and integrity. To every Filipino, you have the power to demand transparency, to expect better, and to reject leaders who fail to live up to their responsibilities. Your voice is the foundation of a corruption-free Philippines. Until our shared vision of a corrupt-free society is realized, the House of Representatives will be untiring in its pursuit of accountability and transparency. Together, let us work to build a nation where justice prevails, trust flourishes, and every Filipino can be proud of their government. Mabuhay ang Bagong Pilipinas. Maraming salamat po.
Thank you, Representative Chua. May we now call on Associate Justice Antonio Tico Jr. to present the anti-corruption measures in the judiciary.
His Excellency, President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr., Honorable Senate President Francis Chis Escudero, Honorable Representative Joel R. Chua, Honorable Ombudsman and retired Supreme Court Justice Samuel Martinez, Honorable Executive Secretary and retired Supreme Court Chief Justice Lucas Bersamin, our partners from the United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime and the World Bank, distinguished guests, fellow workers in government, good morning or good afternoon na sa inyo. I've been tasked by the Chief Justice Alexander G. Hesmundo and the Associate Justices of the Supreme Court to convey the judiciary's unwavering commitment to combat corruption, a bane which impedes justice, hinders progress, and endangers equality in our society. Unfortunately, corruption in our government still exists, and we in the Supreme Court are steadfast in our mission to eradicate it. Central to the Court's commitment to combat corruption is the Strategic Plan for Judicial Innovation 2022 to 2027, which addresses institutional challenges using the four guiding principles. Number 1, timely and fair justice. Number 2, transparent and accountable justice. Number 3, equal and inclusive justice. And 4th, technological adaptive management. A critical pillar of the SPJI is harnessing technology to modernize court operations, minimizing human intervention to safeguard the integrity of the judicial process. The Supreme Court is aware that technology is a double-edged sword. Its omnipresence offers opportunities and challenges. Nevertheless, technology is a powerful ally in our fight against corruption. Corruption thrives in the shadows, where processes are opaque and unaccountable. Through technology, we strive to open windows into our judicial system, ensuring that every action can be monitored and verified. This transparency serves as a strong deterrent, diminishing the opportunities for dishonest acts to take root. Yet, we must acknowledge that technology alone cannot solve everything. Human nature remains the most significant factor in corruption. The judiciary is not immune to this reality. Regrettably, some members of the legal community have chosen to betray their solemn oath. And it is not only judges and lawyers who are susceptible, non-legal personnel also face temptations. To address this, the Judicial Integrity Board, or the JIB, plays a crucial role. Primarily created as a body tasked with investigating complaints and recommending disciplinary measures, the JIB is envisioned to preserve and enhance judicial integrity and to ensure the efficient, fair, and just resolution of administrative disciplinary cases against members, officials, and employees of the judiciary. Demonstrating its dedication to accountability, the JIB resolved 402 cases in 2023 and 373 cases so far in 2024. To sustain these commendable results, the Supreme Court is studying the reorganization of the JIB to further enhance its capability and processes, thereby increasing its efficiency in performing its mandated functions. In addition, the Supreme Court recently approved the implementing rules and regulations for Republic Act No. 11691, or the Judiciary Marshal Act. RA 11691 establishes the Office of Judiciary Marshals, tasked to provide security and protection for members of the judiciary, the courts, and their property from threats and acts of violence. Section 6, Rule 3 thereof specifically provides that the Office of the Judiciary Marshal may conduct investigations regarding allegations of irregularities and corrupt practices committed by members of the judiciary, court officials, and judiciary personnel. The grounds for investigations may include allegations of misconduct, misbehavior, malfeasance, or misfeasance, or allegations of bribery, improper solicitation, money laundering, and similar acts. These measures aim to provide a robust framework to combat corruptions from within. Also, on April 11, 2023, the Supreme Court revised the Code of Professional Responsibility and Accountability, or the CIPRA, to conform with the significant developments in our laws, as well as the rapid technological advancement around the world, which affects how lawyers interact with society, the legal profession, the courts, and their clients. The ethical standards embodied in the CIPRA serves as a guiding principle for lawyers to prevent corruption in the administration of justice. Moreover, the Supreme Court held a series of consultations on the proposed new Code of Conduct for court personnel and the proposed new Code of Judicial Conduct for Philippine judiciary, which aims to update the codes on the modern ethical standards required from the judges and court employees in their roles as officers of the court and agents of the law. These ethical standards will help us combat corruption in the country and promote fair and equal administration of justice. Equally important is the court's adjudication of graft and corruption cases before the trial courts, Sandigan Bayan and the Ombudsman. From 2020 to October 2024, the Supreme Court was able to resolve 473 Sandigan Bayan cases. These steps are part of a broader and relentless pursuit to cleanse our ranks. The judiciary understands that the path forward will not be without obstacles, but it is one we must traverse to uphold trust and integrity. It is our fervent hope that when these reforms are implemented consistently and judiciously, they will yield substantial and positive, tangible outcomes. Let me assure everyone that the judiciary stands resolute as a partner in government's comprehensive battle against corruption. We are committed to fostering a system where justice is not promised, it is not just promised, but actually delivered timely, fairly, transparently, and inclusively. Maraming po salamat sa inyo lahat.
Thank you, Associate Justice Ko. Our next speaker is the head of the anti-corruption arm of the government and the partner of the Office of the President in the development of the Integrity Management Program. May we call on Ombudsman Samuel R. Martires, Jr.
His Excellency, President Ferdinand Romualdez Marcos Jr., Supreme Court Associate Justice Antonio Co., Senate President Francis Escudero, Executive Secretary Lucas Bersamin, Congressman Chua, the Country Manager for World Bank and UNODC, Chair of the Civil Service Commission, the Governor of the Central Bank, fellow civil servants. Magandang umaga, magandang hapon sa inyong lahat. Beginning today and the rest of the month, we commemorate significant milestones in the fight against corruption, namely the 5th State Conference, the International Anti-Corruption Day on December 9, and the National Anti-Corruption Month. These celebrations are not only reminders of the immense challenge posed by corruption, but also of the opportunity to recommit ourselves to the principles of integrity, accountability, and transparency that are vital to nation building. Today's occasion holds greater significance as it aligns with our compliance with the UNCAC that reaffirms our shared duty to prevent corruption, promote accountability, and ensure justice. As a state party to the UNCAC, the Philippines is bound to implement measures that strengthen the integrity of our institutions, improve the effectiveness of law enforcement, and enhance public trust. Compliance with this convention underscores our country's dedication to enhancing or combating corruption through collaboration, innovation, and steadfast adherence to international standards. Among the initiatives in the Office of the Ombudsman, in collaboration with the Commission on Higher Education and the University of the Philippines System, we piloted the Aral at Asal project in 2019. This project emphasizes the importance of instilling ethical values and anti-corruption principles among the youth. Through dramatized episodes, this project has reached schools and the wider public. The Patas at Bayan series aired on Signal TV Channel 101 and available on YouTube at the UP, serves as a compelling tool for education and advocacy. We hope its intended objectives will be met when it is evaluated. Integrating values formation in the formative years of our children from elementary to high school vis-a-vis deeper adherence to the teachings of our faith ensures a sustained and proactive approach in identifying corruption risk at the onset. In the Office of the Ombudsman, to be able to achieve this objective of instilling values among the youth, we will be filing a bill with Congress that would teach good manners and right conduct with religion as the entry point. We have to go back to the basics. And what is the basic value? The basic value is love of God. If we love God, we will not do any foolishness that would hurt or disappoint the Lord. Let us continue to build a nation. Let us continue to build a Bagong Pilipinas, where public trust is upheld, governance is exemplary, and corruption is never tolerated. Magandang hapon sa inyo lahat at marami pong salamat.
Thank you, Sir Ombudsman Martires. To present the vision of the Philippines Integrity Management Program, may I invite everyone to watch a short video presentation outlining the long-term vision of the IMP.
Remember that we are here not for our own gain. We are here to bring forth a government that provides for the needs of the people. Most importantly, let us be vigilant against temptation and corruption and other acts that diminish the public trust.
On November 2022, the PBBM administration reconstituted the Program Management Committee, or PMC, for the continuation of the Integrity Management Program, or IMP. To identify the strengths and weaknesses of the IMP, a third-party consultant was engaged for its review and assessment. At the end of 2023, the assessment review was concluded. It proved that the IMP is a viable program to pursue. Aside from the fact that IMP is the continuing compliance of the Philippines to the UNCAC, the program benefited the public sector institutions, or PSIs, in enhancing their integrity risk management capabilities, including identification of corruption risk, formulation of mitigation strategies and preventive measures, and promotion of integrity awareness among employees and officials.
The IMP also inspires certain priority programs each year. For the year 2024, the IMP has prompted, among others, key programs in at least 6 areas. First, the creation of transparent online portals that provide taxpayers with real-time access to their records. Second, the continuing enhancement and implementation of rigorous training program. Third, the provision of excellent taxpayer services. Fourth, access to online platforms and e-services. Fifth, the continuing active enhancement of strategies to ensure transparency, combat tax evasion, and promote a fair and level playing field for all taxpayers. And sixth, the adoption of global good practices, compliance with international reporting standards, and observance of international agreements on taxation.
Advocacy campaigns such as I Am Panalo, Ikaw, Mamamayan ang Panalo campaign in 2016, Project Ignite Integrity in 2017 and 2018, Tapat Dapat in 2019, and Respond with Integrity, Serve Effectively in 2020 up to present were introduced. These campaigns serve to remind DSWD officials and employees on the importance of ensuring integrity in the delivery of programs and services.
The key measures implemented under the IMP include social inter-use web linkages for faster interagency verification, streamlined personnel placement, and digitized document verification. For FEO, we implemented an online appointment system, created data backup systems, and provided IT training to personnel. These efforts not only reduce human error, but also improve processing times, minimizing client frontliner contact, in line with Republic Act 11032. Both offices have aligned their operations with ISO 9001 2015 standards.
Despite its progress, the IMP has yet to reach its full potential in strengthening the integrity risk management of the bureaucracy. As with every program, IMP also has its gaps. For this reason, IMP had an agency-to-agency agreement with the Development Academy of the Philippines to work on IMP's management plan. While the program management plan is on the works, the IMP proudly presents the vision of the new IMP. The Integrity Management Program is the premier program for integrity building in the Philippine government, which implements integrity measures and manages risk of corruption through capacity building, research, and knowledge sharing among public sector institutions. Currently, the OPOMB Technical Secretariat is devising the program management plan with the help of DAP, which will end in the first quarter of 2025. Alongside this, the OPOMB Technical Secretariat shall undergo capacity building workshops for the first and second quarters of 2025. During the second and third quarters of 2025, we shall conduct a series of comprehensive PSI consultations with the aim to address the evolving needs of the program and possible streamlining of other anti-corruption program of the PCIs. The revised IMP design will be finalized and launched within the third and fourth quarter of 2025. To transition the 19 existing PSIs to the new IMP, a bridging program shall be conducted and prioritized from the last quarter of 2025 until the end of 2026. Concurrently, with the bridging program, select government agencies will undergo pilot testing under the new IMP design from the last quarter of 2025 to the end of 2027. For the years 2026 to 2027, a robust monitoring and evaluation is proposed to be done to check the implementation of the new IMP design. And for the fourth quarter of 2026 to the end of 2027, we look into holding an integrity management caravan to encourage the implementation of IMP at different levels of the bureaucracy.
We hope that you share our vision, be part of the IMP.
Thank you. And now, may we call on Executive Secretary Bersamin and Ombudsman Martires for the presentation of the 5th State Conference Manifesto. To the President, ma'am.
Fifth State Conference Resolution Number 1/24, 3 December 2024. The sponsor is Presidential United Nations Convention Against Corruption Interagency Committee. The signatories are the Conference Assembly, members of the Conference Assembly. And the theme is Pagpapatibay ng Kultura ng Integridad sa buong Bagong Pilipinas. The Conference Assembly, may I read? The Conference Assembly continues to recognize the Philippines as a state party to the United Nations Convention Against Corruption, UNCAC, and its genuine commitment to comply with its treaty obligation to develop, implement, and maintain effective, coordinated anti-corruption policies and measures that promote the participation of society and reflect the principles of the rule of law, integrity, transparency, and accountability. Ensures compliance with the provisions of the UNCAC through the institutionalization of the Integrity Management Program, IMP, as the National Corruption Prevention Program of the government, covering 6 dimensions or management systems, namely service delivery, institutional leadership, human resource management and development, financial procurement and asset management, internal reporting and investigation, and corruption risk management. Supports the administration's policy towards achieving data-driven and science-based planning and decision-making mechanisms in fostering a culture of accountability that curbs corruption in government. May I ask the Ombudsman to read the rest?
To reinforce the continuous institutionalization of the IMP, dedicate the enhanced IMP in maintaining effective, coordinated anti-corruption policies aligned with the aim of Bagong Pilipinas as enunciated in Article 5 of the UNCAC. Acknowledge that revitalizing the culture of integrity endeavors the whole of government approach, commits to a shared responsibility of fighting corruption together with different offices of the executive, legislative, and judicial branches of the government, the constitutional commissions, developmental partners, non-governmental organizations, and civil society, and resolve to humbly implore the President to call upon all anti-corruption advocates and integrity stakeholders to collaborate and support the vision of the enhanced IMP as a tool for adopting their data-based and anti-corruption measures. Malacañan, Manila, 3 December 2024. Signed, Lucas P. Bersamin, Chairperson, Executive Secretary. Jesus Rimulya, Crispin Rimulya, Vice Chairperson, Secretary, Department of Justice. Enrique A. Manalo, Co-Vice Chairperson, Secretary, Department of Foreign Affairs. Arsenio Balizacan, Member, Secretary, National Economic and Development Authority. Amina Pangandaman, Member, Secretary, Department of Budget and Management. Juanito Victor C. Rimulya, Member, Secretary, Department of Interior and Local Government. The 5th State Conference, Ombudsman Samuel Martires, the Office of the Ombudsman, and Ana Liza Logan, Deputy Executive Secretary for Legal Affairs.
Okay. Thank you, sirs. At this point, May we invite Executive Secretary Lucas P. Bersamin to introduce our guest of honor and speaker.
Ladies and gentlemen, the President of the Republic of the Philippines, His Excellency Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr.
Thank you to the Executive Secretary, Lucas Bersamin, for his introduction. Please take your seats. Senate President Chis Escudero, the honorable members of the Cabinet who are here present, Ombudsman Chairperson Sammy Martires, Manila 3rd District Representative Joel Chua, Supreme Court Associate Justice Antonio Co. Jr., World Bank Country Director Zafer Mustafoglu. I hope I got that even just approximately right. United Nations Office on Drug and Crime Country Manager Danielle Marchesi, my fellow workers in government, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good day to you. On November 6, 2006, the Philippines ratified the United Nations Convention Against Corruption, or UNCAC. On that day, our country made a bold commitment to fight corruption, not just within our borders, but alongside a global community of nations. Almost 2 decades later, it is an honor and a privilege for the Philippines to host the 5th State Conference on the United Nations Convention Against Corruption, Implementation, and Review. This gathering is made more meaningful for our country as we set the course for a Bagong Pilipinas, where truth is our strongest currency and integrity is a cornerstone of our national identity. In 2014, we institutionalized the Integrity Management Program, or IMP, providing a clear anti-corruption framework. It served as a tool to enhance both individual and systems integrity across the bureaucracy. However, a decade into its execution, several challenges persist and prove to be unexpectedly complex. Gaps in implementation, evolving political climates, and systemic vulnerabilities remind us that the war against corruption is far from over. With this conference's theme, Pagpapatibay ng Kultura, ng Integridad sa Bagong Pilipinas, we are called to go beyond implementing policies and protocols and to look deep into our core values to strengthen the culture of integrity. We must shift away from merely enforcing compliance with laws, rules, and regulations to steering our people towards the practice of integrity in their daily lives. Integrity that is rooted in katapatan, malasakit, pakikipagkapwa, and bayanihan. These need to be reinforced and sustained. This is the kind of transformation that we envision, which guides not only our systems of governance, but our behaviors as citizens of this Bagong Pilipinas. Yet we all know that lofty ideals will not suffice. People expect results, and results demand action. To build a government founded on integrity and accountability, we must adopt comprehensive and interconnected strategies. We are combating corruption using a two-pronged strategy. First, we streamline and digitalize processes that avenues for corruption become nil. At the forefront of this strategy is our initiatives like the Government PH application and e-marketplace, which transform how government services are delivered. To further strengthen our digitalization efforts, I signed the new Government Procurement Act earlier this year. It establishes standardized electronic bidding and payment systems, amongst others, through the enhanced Philippine Government Electronic Procurement System. This shall be used by procuring entities, suppliers, manufacturers, distributors, contractors, consultants, and service providers to further increase efficiency, improve compliance, minimize the risk of corruption, reduce paper usage, and create a more detailed audit trail. The integration of data analytics with the procurement process facilitates informed decision-making by procuring entities and the identification of suspicious, fraudulent, and non-competitive practices. This will in turn provide transparency and proactive government monitoring, thereby ensuring judicious government spending. By streamlining and digitalizing processes, we are improving the efficiency and fostering trust and accountability between government and the public. Complementing this is our second strategy of empowering the people to participate in good governance. It is done by promoting full public disclosure of information in the way that we do business in government. Through the electronic Freedom of Information platform, citizens now have avenues to exercise their right to vital government information. Our national budget, which is detailed to the project level, is published online, allowing our people to know how much and for what public funds are being spent on. The new Government Procurement Act also includes measures that ensure the accessibility of procurement processes and contract implementation information to engage observers and civil society organizations in procurement and make all procurement-related conferences available for public viewing. These efforts align with the IMP, which is now being reformulated to better address systemic challenges and to adapt to the ever-changing political landscape. Further, with the provisions of the UNCAC, we continue to collaborate on the international front, emphasizing the importance of global partnerships in combating corruption. By learning from and working with other nations, we strengthen our anti-corruption mechanisms while reaffirming our place as a proactive member of the global community. Together, these interconnected efforts form a united approach to fostering a government that is efficient, accountable, and reflective of a nation committed to placing honor and integrity over self-interest. Let the Fifth State Conference Resolution 124 you presented today be a powerful pact between us and the Filipino people, between today and the future that we are determined to create. What you sign today will echo our commitment to fighting corruption and protecting the trust accorded to us by our people. Let us envision a Bagong Pilipinas where integrity is a steadfast reality, deeply ingrained in every part of our society. Let us make this promise we fulfill, for the future is ours to shape. Thank you very much. Good morning to you all. Mabuhay ang Bagong Pilipinas.
Thank you, Mr. President. At this point, may we request the President to kindly remain on stage for a photo opportunity. May we call on guest speakers and cabinet secretaries to proceed on stage. Presidential UNCAC Interagency Committee members and Secretariat, please prepare. Presidential UNCAC Interagency Committee members and Secretariat, please prepare. Thank you. Please exit to your right. May we call on Presidential UNCAC Interagency Committee members and Secretariat to proceed on stage. Please prepare Program Management Committee and the OP Ombudsman's Technical Secretariat of the Integrity Management Program. Thank you. Please exit to your right. May we call on Program Management Committee and the OP Ombudsman Technical Secretariat of the Integrity Management Program to please proceed on stage. Thank you. Please exit to your right. Now, may we request the President to please proceed downstage to grant us a group photo. May we also request our attendees to gather at the center and join us with a group photo. Thank you, Mr. President. That ends our photo opportunity and that concludes our program. Once again, the President of the Republic of the Philippines, His Excellency Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr.